Hi everyone, I am Dr.Sreekanth Yerramilli from Department of Management Sciences, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. I am faculty here for career counseling, guidance, and aspects related to the human capital management or HRM. So, artificial intelligence has taken a foreground these days and it has played a significant role in the careers of everyone, at least in the recent half of the decade. We have been seeing a transformational changes, a kind of a disruption in almost every aspect of our career. And all in all, right from business, medical sciences, technology, humanities, arts, aesthetics, creatives, media, and everywhere across the world in every business and every landscape of career landscape overall. Artificial intelligence has taken a foreground. We hear the AI as a buzzword almost across every field of business that we are seeing across. Now, here in this session, we will try to understand the basic roadmap of artificial intelligence as a career, in particular from the business standpoint. As we see the traditional or the classical models of careers in management sciences, particularly to be precise, the classical streams of business careers, like in finance, marketing, human resource management, and so on, they've been all now allied towards artificial intelligence and business data analytics. So, business data analytics will be the forerunner to the cognitive abilities of the systems that would take over the business to help you in aiding the business do well. And that's where the better cognitive abilities will call for the artificial intelligence intervention into the business. So we will try to see the career roadmap. What are the key ingredients that would go into this concoction? How a career gets transformed with the help of artificial intelligence advent in the recent past. So if you can see here, so what is disruption by and large? Disruption is nothing but anything that is conventional, that is being significantly transformed over a period of time. And that too happening as a paradigm shift, a total transformation from what it is in the earlier existing stage. As we stand here in the current era of AI, as we have talked about in the earlier slide of introduction, we see that AI has taken over the front seat now in the past few couple of months after the new normalcy of the post-pandemic era of business across the world. What do I mean by that? Pretty simple. If you notice, there is a recent news that organizations have taken over better abled data engines and AI taking over the place of the humans at the leadership level. A few organizations even deciding to go ahead extra mile and hiring their CEOs to be a robot. AI taking over as a CEO of an organization is a recent news that we have noticed. So this triggers an interesting thought of inquisition that what is going to be the next future of the human resource or the careers roadmap of the humans in different faculty of careers, and what's the role of AI in this and how they are going to make a nexus between the both. That's going to be an interesting play. Now here in this session, we will try to elaborate on what are the key ingredients that would make for calling a human resource better equipped in terms of AI ready careers, especially from the standpoint of business. We will try to see how the disruption is taking over the front seat and try to see what it makes for the human capital to grow themselves in the career. What are the aspects or the phases of their career planning that should incorporate AI into their day-to-day activities. Either it can be an entrepreneur who wants to better their career, or a career starter or a lateral who wants to scale up their career in betterment. We see a blend of or a host of learning applications and apps that are trying to hint you already this disruptive change. So, disruptive technologies improve in various aspects, particularly the learning as well. The regamification, the advent of the World Wide Web has been the trigger or the beginning point of the fourth industrial revolution already. And AI is going to be the spark that is going to accelerate this transformation that we have seen, as I told you, in the recent half of the decade. So one of the most important things that we have to understand is what is it going to be in terms of business analytics that we as business professionals or the career aspirants should have to keep in mind while we are trying to compete along with the AI or maybe work along with AI in our careers going forward. Being digitally native is something very important these days, irrespective of the age or the demographic in any organization. We see that digital nativism has taken over the front seat. You need to be conversant with certain social media handles, professional handles, or virtual networks that will take over the entire business. Example, the marketing or the basic fundamentals of the marketing has not been the same how it was 5 years back. We see that digital marketing has taken over a significant transformation. SEO, search engine optimization, on page and off page, social media marketing, social media optimization, and mobile development operations DevOps, and their pertinent activities related to the digital space have transformed the marketing. Similarly, the fintech, financial technologies, a blend of technology associated with finance are making the business owners, entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, share market analysts, and many other professionals transform their career into betterment by adopting AI and business analytics tactics and tools and applications to ease their business decisions, thereby transforming the finance or the subject of or the stream of finance and business into fintech or financial technologies. Economics with econometrics, understanding a better metrics-driven, data-driven environment, making the economics into a new trajectory altogether. Similarly, HR, human resource management being transformed. So, if you look at speaking about the careers and then the HRM, human capital management or HCM or the HR, what has transformed is the portfolios of the careers. The career was not like a typical way of around 10 decades or 1 decade or 2 decades or 3 decades of a life that's being spent in an organization and then you attain the superannuation. Now the careers have been more dynamic. The careers have been transforming into something new altogether. Digital portfolios have become the front seat. The hiring managers mostly now in the advent of the recent past of AI are done by the artificial intelligence engines. Typical algorithms defining how the profiles are being screened, how the profiles are being sent to the careers and so on. So specific task-driven programs, task-driven career environments have come in. Serial entrepreneurs have started who have been working on a particular product or a service, roll them out as an entrepreneur and move to the next one. Neuro HRM, wherein a nexus of organization psychology and human resource management and organization behavior, a blend has been made with the help of HR analytics, which has taken the front seat. As I told you earlier, business analytics is an underlying subject across in all these fields. Marketing by digital analytics and digital marketing, finance with financial technologies, econometrics and so on, and HRM similarly with HR analytics and so on. You notice an interesting disruptive trend in all the career streams across. This is not just about the management sciences. The same trend is being observed with engineering streams as well, be it civil engineering with specially aided career with the help of new technologies are being used. Augmented reality, virtual reality have made it in better visualization of designs and models and prototype designing. The same with the mechanical engineering, automobile engineering. So autonomous engines have taken over in the automobile engineering. So just these are only few examples that can be quoted and cited to tell about the transformation of disruption, how it is taking over it. Now to get into the nuts and bolts of planning a roadmap across in the business analytics in the advent of AI, we will try to see what it takes into this concoction one by one. Any career, if you look at it from the standpoint of AI particularly now, the foundation level life skills, what makes it to be human, are very important. These are anyway acquired during the school levels and during the initial levels of your career. So personal competencies, basic academic competencies like your grades, your CGPAs, your scores in English and so on, your proficiency in communications and your academic score points, all this scholastic information, everything related to your foundation level education. See, these are the foundation level life skills that are very important for us to understand. So these kind of skills are very, very important to make your career better at the foundation level. So workplace competencies at the entry level are also part of this life skills. So life skills make us humans, make us different from the AIs that we are talking about or we are going to talk about now in a short while. The competencies required to be human, the foundation level will be the life skills, obviously. Now going to the next level a little bit. So in your career, let us suppose you have moved from your academics, from the graduation to the entry level career positions. So the basic math or the basic logic, the science, the social studies and English and other humanities streams. Now it slowly divides into the career streams. Going to the next level of your career trajectory, you will be finding the career competencies. The career competencies, here comes the new age of technology. Career competencies are largely defined based on your year level of your professional experience. Example, given the standpoint which year you are in your career, what is your role that you are trying to get your career path into? And what is the level at which, experience level at which you are entering into that particular career? Are you joining as a junior level associate? Are you joining as a better professional with 1 or 2 years of experience or 5 to 10 years of experience, 20 to 30 years of experience? So year at level, they call it in the HR parlance. So that experience and your core competencies that you have built over the past academics and life skills levels of your life. Now they are going to play for you to make you a better human resource or the human capital to an organization. These competencies are career competencies. Basically now, as we have discussed earlier, irrespective of the demographics of the age, the current, irrespective of the industry that we are talking about, the core competencies now revolve around the computing thinking, computational thinking. The artificial intelligence advent has made it obvious that every stream, as I told you, including arts, creative, media, and other fields, have taken over into this role. The industry specific competencies, that is about industrial knowledge by and large, what the industry that you have been into and how you have been trying to acquire the knowledge about the industry skills or job specific skills, and the occupational skills related to your core occupation. And having said about the occupational skills and industry macro level skills, computational skills have taken over a mandatory role now. Here comes the advent of data and infrastructure, data management and data level understanding, and scientific temperament through analysis and architecture, by and large understanding about the analytics and analysis of a problem area that you are working on, that skills, and development and programming, leadership and training and support. So irrespective of whatever the stream that you are trying to enter into or the industry that you are entering into, the data is taken over a front seat. Now we will try to understand, with this stage being set for the significance of data in our careers, especially in the era of artificial intelligence, how business analytics across the career streams is going to transform our lives. Artificial intelligence, a word that needs no introduction, as I told you about in my precursory slides, has taken over one of the most important roles in all our careers. A good example of the generative pre-trained transformer models, GPT 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, the versions. These are the large language models that have got the higher capabilities of understanding higher level language, as in the human level language, and they chat or mediate with you in those languages. That's the basic understanding of it. Unlike the earlier versions wherein a programming language has to be learned by a programmer and try to be incorporated into mediating with the systems to build, analyze or program anything into the computer systems. But now with this large language models, LLMs, the artificial intelligence advent has made it much simpler and easier for anyone with a decent level of basic understanding in human languages can communicate, mediate better and get the work done by using systems. That's the role of artificial intelligence. Now, in short while, we will see this artificial intelligence, how it's going to transform our careers from a direct standpoint of which career is getting much affected and how it's going to transform your careers. As we discussed earlier, the AI is nothing but, no matter how much ever autonomous it is and artificially evolved it is, it's still at the stage of learning from the machine learning models what we humans have been giving as an input. That means all the data that we are feeding into in terms of asking queries and getting the work done are going to be benefited for the ML machine learning backend models of these AI engines to learn and evolve themselves better. In so doing, to help us better or work along with us better. So how the career is going to play for the humans or the human capital management is a subject matter of time for now. But nevertheless, the AI's evolution in the recent past of couple of years has been phenomenal as per the world leaders. Right from Elon Musk to the Microsoft CEO and many other leaders across the world have been significantly having mixed opinions about the abilities of artificial intelligence in coexisting with the human resource, HR, in trying to perform duties and tasks. At least at the very basic level, transactional level activities are going to be automated very soon. That is what the research says. A recent research journal has been pointing out on that. But nevertheless, when you go higher up in the levels of your career, with the subject matter expertise being still humans, AI is only trying to support you by escorting you along in your easement of work as of now. Having said that, what is the key ingredient of the AI to run better for you to do well? Simple. It's all about data. So the world, as we discussed about the business, where for the topic of discussion, is all taken over by data. Those who have the better understanding of data can perform their careers well, irrespective of whichever the role you are or whichever the industry you are working into as a human capital. Now coming to data, how the data is being defined. So everybody keeps talking about business data analytics or business analytics. That is going to be the important aspect of it. So what comprises this business analytics? Simply put, it's data. How do you define data then? The humongous volumes of data that is widely available across can be broadly divided into two axes, basing on its complexity of data, the data, how much ever the complex it is in the x-axis, and the data's added value contributions. That means how it is going to contribute to you in terms of the additional values. So the higher the ability to help you with the insights, the better the added value it is. That is the y-axis that we are seeing here, and the x-axis that we are seeing here, that is the horizontal axis, is the complexity of the data. So marketing example, you might be having some tools and applications that will do the World Wide Web analytics and so on, that might require certain degree of complexity. And finance, as it being globally pervasive, might have a certain higher degree of complexity, so on and so forth. So any business activities needs data, as we have discussed earlier in the slides. And you or me as a professional who are trying to ease our betterment in our careers through the help of business analytics need this data. And that data need to be bifurcated into dedicated styles of platforms. So data has a life cycle, as we have discussed about it. And it is broadly defined on two axes, that is complexity of the data and the added value addition that the data is going to contribute to us. Now let us understand what are the stages of the data in the time series that is going to help you do better. Higher the complexity, higher will be the need for analytics. And for that, you need the data to be divided, curated, processed, of course with the help of different applications and tools, and to make our work do better and get better insights about performing our tasks. So now, the initial stages of any data, if that is being taken, basically trying to curate the data and put it into the rows and columns and trying to feed it into palatable, understandable, meaningful structures, so that when you're feeding it into the tools and applications, you can do it better. That stage of the data is called as the descriptive analytics stage. So any data or business analytics stages that you're talking about, if you are calling it. So initial stages are nothing but the descriptive analytics stage. At this stage, basically, the data is tried to be understood at a very descriptive level. It's more or less a 50-50 combination of subjective elements related to that. The raw data that we are having about it is curated well, and being processed into to give some descriptive information about the data. And that's the stage that is called as the descriptive analytics stage of business analytics. And then after the descriptive analytics stage, the next complexity level that we are seeing about is diagnostic analytics of data. So what is diagnostic analytics? After you got the data being described, being defined in rows and columns, or put into certain definitions and labels, classes, you make the structure into an organized format by describing the data in a better way. Then you're trying to do a diagnostic run on the data to understand how the data is performing, what are the types of information that we may want to get from our data basing on our objectives, or try to run through different tools basing on the need that we are doing about it. Imagine like an instrument that you have. You have a hammer with you, or you have a chisel with you. What do you use the hammer for? What do you use the chisel for? Basing on the task at hand that you have, you try to pick the relevant tool that you want to use. Similarly, at this stage of the diagnostics, you'll be using the relevant tools to diagnose and run a quick run on understanding for our objectives, what is the need that we want to fulfill through this clarified data from the first stage. Now that the data is described, how can I use it better to reach my objectives of my business or my task? That stage is diagnostic analytics. After diagnostic analytics, a little higher in the complexity is the predictive analytics. What is predictive analytics? Simply put, very much in the very name, it is to predict the outcomes based on the objectives that you are having, whatever the suggestion that you are trying to give to the industry or to the business, basing on the diagnostics run that you have made through the tools and applications and your individual cognition and cognitive abilities and a few other analytics functions that you have run. You try to predict an outcome and try to see this might be a possible outcome out of the analysis that we have done on the particular data from the earlier stages of describing the aspect, trying to diagnose the areas associated with that and try to predict the possible outcome. So this predictive analytics stage is more or less like the phase of the solution provider. From here, it is nothing but about giving a solution to your business or your task. So the business analytics, when you reach to the predictive analytics level, basically we are trying to give some solutions to your business models. Example, you're running an entrepreneurial company and you want to understand why your sales have not been good in a certain standpoint of your quarter in the last year. You try to do a quick diagnosis, as I told you earlier. You first try to get the data from different sources and then try to run a diagnostic test and then try to see which are the areas, which are the pain points of having problem, and try to predict what best can be done and what can be the possible outcomes if you are not taking certain actions. It's only a prescription that is being given at this stage. Now getting to the next level and the higher complexity level, that is prescriptive analytics. One of the most important stages, especially in any organization when monetary aspects are involved or maybe a lot of time intensive aspects have been involved. This stage is more like a solution provider. You're trying to prescribe after the prediction of the outcomes. What can be the best prescription, scientifically approved prescription through the analytics tools that we are running about it. So it's relatively complex and requires a higher functioning tools, wherein at these two stages, particularly the prediction and then the prescriptive stage, AI plays a key role. Why? Because they have a better functioning abilities in terms of time and they have a higher capacity of dealing with the data in a quicker, faster way and much accurate way than the humans can do. So making use of the business analytics tools, applications, along with your cognitive abilities, we are able to attain the most mathematically and logically acceptable solution for your business problems. That's when the business analytics are being fulfilled with the help of AI by reaching all these 4 stages successfully. So these are the life cycles by and large of any data analytics or business analytics foray that we are talking about. As I told you about it, any industry, whatever we are taking about it. As a human capital or the human resource, the initial basic level abilities that are being required as a human are needed. And then the tools and technology, the tech that is needed to fulfill them through these 4 stages. If you understand this nuances of the stages well, you can plan your career well, which means to say that when you're starting your career as a basic level associate with your fundamental understanding as a life skills, as we talked about in the earlier pyramid, and the foundation level language and understanding of the little bit of computational techniques and a little bit of the database management and querying language, a bit of it, then you are at this stage of your career trajectory. That is at the very junior level or the entry level positions. Usually you'll be a descriptive analyst when you're looking at as a career. And after that, you go with 2 or 3 years of experience, 2 to 3 years, roughly put. With 2 to 3 years of experience, you might be getting into a level of being a diagnostic analyst and try to do a higher level, a little informed level of diagnostic analytics in business by using your earlier experience plus your basic academic and professional knowledge that you have. And if you are getting a little better in programming and trying to be a better mediator between the AI engines and the business by and large, with the acquired experience, of course, around 5 to 10 years of such experience, you will be going into predictive analyst and will be a predictive business analyst and try to predict better outcomes for the organizations. And you are a subject matter expertise, SME, in the respective role of business analytics. These are the key stages, and the last stage, of course, is more or less 10 years and beyond. And at this level, the prescriptive analytics is more of a leadership role that will be making use of the different analysts at these levels, and at the same time trying to understand the careers and the industry by and large. So you are a leader. Here comes the interesting part. As I told you earlier, now we as human capital, there is a news that I told you about a couple of days back we have received, that the AI engine recently has taken over as a CEO of an organization, giving the prescriptive analytic solutions to the organization. That means that a 10 to 15 years of an experienced professional's role and beyond is being taken over by the AI engine in a jiffy. And it has taken over the role and is trying to give better informed solutions. Having said that, it is very important for us to understand at this level, if the machines are able to take over, we can only imagine how we have to scale up ourselves in learning abilities and cognitive capacities in order to make ourselves a better resourceful person to the business or an organization by making use of the machines in the right course, the AI engines for the right course, and try to compete along with, or maybe coexist or co-work along with these AI engines. By and large, that's going to be the landscape, how our career has to be planned across. So there are different organizations and different research that have been parallelly going on as we are discussing about in terms of the career that we are trying to see. And business analytics was not at least the same how it was about 10 years back, since last 4 years now. And in the recent past, as I told you about, with the advent of the GPT models and then the better cognitive ability engines, every stream of industry has taken over a new hue of color. That is nothing but business analytics or the data analytics. And for that, it requires higher abilities of logical understanding and a little bit of understanding about how the machines would be working in terms of the data processing and analytics. We have seen a foundation level understanding of how the data is being spread across in the spectrum of career and then the data analysis phases. And we have seen how the AI is going to take over the business and how it can help us better if you are able to scale up to its level. So it all depends on our understanding and our learning cognitive abilities and our inquisitiveness to make sure that we are competing better with the better engines to make us work better along with the AI and coexist. All the best. This is Dr. Sreekanth from School of Management Sciences, IARE. We'll try to bring you more insights into these areas of business analytics and then associated tools and applications and different career platforms and paths, how they can make your career soar well. All the best very much. Thank you and have a good day.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.